So, I welcome you all to today's iMovie tutorial. Thanks for joining us, those who are joining us from Facebook. We'll be covering the very basics of iMovie, especially keeping in mind editing eye surgery videos. I am Dr. Sarabjit Singh, Chief Eye Surgeon and Medical Director of Dr. Shamsher Singh Eye Hospital in Khanna town of Punjab. Before I go any further, I would like to thank Dr. Vikas Mittal of LJ Eye Institute Ambala for inviting me for this webinar. Dr. Mittal is a cornea specialist of both national and international acclaim. I'm blessed to have a colleague and a friend like him. So in today's this presentation, I'll be doing this tutorial in 3 parts. In part 1, I'll show you the basic setup of my computer as a preparation for editing a video. In part 2, I'll quickly go through the iMovie interface. In part 3, I'll edit a video and shall go through the workflow and steps that we need to do a basic edit. We can take up questions at the end of the whole presentation, keeping in mind the time restraint. If there is an issue, we can always take it up at any time. Hope you find this presentation useful. All right. So let's go to the next part. So now, today's basically we are talking about, can you guys hear me? All right. Basic editing we will be talking about in iMovie. iMovie, as I already told you, it's an Apple product and it works only on Mac. But that's all right, because most of the programs, editing applications, video editing applications, they work very similar. Their working is very similar. Their layouts are very similar. I'll just show it to you. So, as I said, iMovie is a free software from Apple, works only on Apple computers, iPads and iPhones as well. But for other operating systems like Windows and Linux, this will not work. For Windows, I think they have a Movie Maker or something, but they also have something called Filmora 9, which is very good and looks almost exactly like iMovie. But the thing is, it is free as well as paid, but the free version that has got a watermark which stays till you actually pay for the program. For Linux and for Windows and for Mac, there's another program which is free. It's called DaVinci Resolve, but this is slightly has a learning curve, but it's a professional and a very good program. And maybe one day we'll do a webinar on that as well. So we'll talk about the principle and techniques of editing video, surgical videos on iMovie, but they work on most of them, as I said earlier. It's the same way we do editing. Basic concepts are the same. So if you don't have iMovie, you can very easily transfer all these principles and techniques to those different applications. So finally, let's move on to iMovie. So when we make videos, what is our aim usually? So maybe we want to show a certain technique. We want to share our experience. All of us will have complications once in a while or maybe more in our surgical careers. So maybe we want to share those complications for other people during conferences and all that. And sometimes we also do it to promote our brand, which is not a bad idea. So the thing is, we have to keep a few things in mind. One of them is that the audience's attention span is a little small, So if your video is not interesting, a bit too long or boring, or doesn't have a value for them, they will actually maybe sleep or think about something else or even leave the hall. So we must make sure that we have a good message to deliver, and it should be short and to the point, and we should value the time of the audience, because everybody's time is very precious, so we should respect their time as well. So what we'll do today is I'll just show you the interface, then we'll talk about the basic techniques, and then we'll also edit a video. Before I show you the interface, I'll show you how I organize my files, because that makes life easier. Otherwise, you waste a lot of time looking for assets like pictures or logos. You don't know where they are. So it's a good idea to have them sorted out or organized in a particular manner. But for time's sake, today I'll be putting them only into one folder, but I'll show you the setup anyway. So there are basically three steps. One is we import media, then we edit the video, and then we export it and share it. So let's go and have a look. I'll be showing you 3 or 4 videos. First of them will be, actually, as I told you, my organization of my computer and the videos and the assets, and then we'll go on to the other videos. So first of all, let's check on the first video. This is my desktop. I have an external 500 GB hard disk connected to it. This hard drive is a solid state drive, SSD for short. As you know, the SSD are faster than regular hard drives and have no moving parts in them. I use this SSD as a scratch disk, which means that I do all my video editing, etc. on this drive. As video files are invariably large, I don't keep them on my computer internal hard drive, which can fill up really quickly. Once my video projects are finalized, I shift them to 2 different hard drives as archives. The SSD again becomes free to be used again. We must organize our files in folders and subfolders. In my case, I created a folder called Editing in iMovie. It has got subfolders, Assets, and Raw Video. This subfolder has got the raw video that I need to edit. The Assets folder has got further subfolders like Animation, Intro, Logo, Lower Thirds, Music, Pics, and Thumbnail. If you organize all your files and assets like this, it becomes so much easier and doesn't waste much time once you start editing. Am I audible now? All right, okay, sorry about that. So in the next video, I'll be showing you the interface of iMovie, and you can transfer this knowledge to any other program besides iMovie. When you first fire up your iMovie, yep, yeah. Yes, that's true. And the thing is, if you have a normal hard disk, which is not SSD, then the things really slow down because the video editing is a very CPU intensive this thing and hard disk. But obviously, the computer hard disk, if it is a SSD, because computers also have got normal hard disks and SSD hard disks. But nowadays, most of the Mac computers or MacBook Pros, they come with SSD hard disk. So their speed is even faster than the external SSDs. So if you have space, why not? You can do it on your computer itself, and then transfer the file and other files to the external hard disk later. That's perfectly fine. In fact, because if you have an SSD on your Mac, that is actually much faster than the SSD which is external. So if you have space like 100 GB plus on your computer, it's a good idea to do it there only. But the thing is, like, can you hear me? Because the net seems to be slightly unstable. So you're right. You can actually do it on very well on your computer. Yes, the thing is, iMovie, because yeah. Yeah, because iMovie actually converts it into a movie .mov file, and those files are very big. Most of them would be like 1+ GB. Most of them, even short ones. But the thing is, there are ways which I will actually tell you that later on you can actually convert it into again MP4 also, but with certain applications, and the file sizes become really small. I'll tell you about a couple of, after this presentation, I'll show you ways to really bring down the size of your videos. Because iMovie, because they work on certain resolutions, and that makes files very big. And also it depends on whether you are recording on 1920 1080, like, which is a full HD, or others. The size also depends on all those things. So later on, actually, I'll show you, because file sizes are a big problem. I'll later on tell you how to make the file sizes very small, and it's very easy. Certain applications are free of cost, and you really can make sizes like 1/10 also of the size, and the quality doesn't deteriorate, which is more important. All right, so we go on to the interface. When you first fire up your iMovie, you will see the project browser. If you don't see it, click on projects, and the project browser will open up. This is where all your projects are residing. You click on the plus sign to create a new project, which is your new video. This is the layout of most of the video editors. This is the library window where your iMovie library is, and also your video name comes here. This is the media browser where your clips and your photographs and your audio files all will reside here. This is the preview window where you will see your video preview, and this is where all the action happens. This is the timeline. The clips move from left to right. So this is the layout, and if you have any questions about the layout, I'll be happy to talk about it. Can you hear me, all of you? So if there is no question, then I can actually go on to the next video. Yeah, this is actually a slightly longer video because I'm going to edit straight away. All right. Open iMovie by clicking on the iMovie icon. You should come to this place. This is the project browser. Then you click on Create New. And then we want to create a movie and not a trailer. So click on Movie. In case you are somewhere here, then you can click on Projects to go back. And then you will reach the first page. So now the first thing which we have to do is to import the media. The best thing to do is to have all your files in a separate folder. Like in this case, I have put them in this folder called iMovie Tutorial. All these files, I have put them here. There are various methods of bringing or importing media into the iMovie, but the easiest is you select all these files that you might want to use or might need to use and drag it and drop it here in the media browser. So once in the media browser, you can see that the first one, this icon is like a camera. This tells us this is a photograph. Now this one gives us a 13.4 seconds. So that means that this is a video clip. This is a photograph again. And this is a 14.9 minute video clip as well. So this is how you know which one is a video clip and which one is a photograph. So once you have imported the photographs and the video clips, first thing you will do is you go to your video clip. This is the video clip I want to edit, the surgery video clip. And in this case, I want to just show the phaco chop. So I will move my mouse cursor over this. This is called scrubbing or skimming. And this will quickly go to the place from where I want to start my clip. So when I'm happy, I press the letter I for in. That will set an in point, and then you keep going forwards. And then at this point I have finished my phaco, so I'll type the letter O, which is for out. Then I grab this and bring it down into the timeline. So this is one clip that I brought into the timeline. Now let's get another clip. Maybe we can do the I and A, type I, then go forwards. And then type O for out. And what you can do is you can also type the letter E, which will also bring the clip down. So now we have got two clips to play with. Now these are very small in size, so we can actually zoom in so that we can see these clips in a little more detail. You can click on this small little arrow thing and we can move it to the right, and this will actually zoom in, so we have a better and closer view of our clips. So now the things that we need to learn here is, one is called trimming. When you bring your cursor to the edge of one of the clips, it turns into two arrows going left and right. So you can click and hold your left mouse button and drag it to the right. This will trim the clip. You can bring it back this way. Again, you can do the same thing to the other side. You can bring it in, you can bring it out. This gives you a much better control once the clip is in the timeline. So let's see if in the beginning we are at the correct place. Now, this is not the place that I wanted or intended to start my video. So I'll trim it in and bring it to where I start the phaco, which is about somewhere about here. Okay. So another thing which we must or should learn is, okay, let's elongate this clip a little bit more. Okay. So I want to get rid of this portion which I don't need. So I'll tap, and this is the playhead. So I want to split this clip at the playhead. So I'll bring down the cursor to the clip, select it, right click, and click on split clip. Or you can press Command and B. That will also split the clip into two at the playhead. So I will select the portion which I don't require. It will turn into a yellow box around it, and then you just press the button delete and it goes away. So now we have got two clips. The next thing which we should learn is the transition, because if we play the video at the playhead, you will see that from one clip to the other, it's what we call a hard cut, sudden change from one clip to the other. To make the transition smooth, we will go to transition just above the media browser, and then we have plenty of transitions here. You can move your cursor over these transitions to see what they do. You can bring down the one which fancies you to in between the two clips. So now if you go from one clip to the other by clicking on this play button, you see the transition was a very subtle dissolve. We must use, if we must use transition, they should be very subtle and not very extravagant. So the next thing we want to do is we can learn to speed up the clip, because there's no point watching the irrigation as aspiration at normal speed. It doesn't add to anything. So the way we do it is you go above this window and then click on this icon which is looks like a speedometer. Once you do that, then you go here where it's written speed, click the arrow button and then tap on fast, and this has changed it to 2 times speed. So the clip has become smaller or shorter by half, So the speed is now faster. You can do the same thing with the other clip. Click and select the clip. You know it is selected when the yellow box appears around the clip. Then you go to the speedometer, click on arrow, down arrow, click on fast. You can make it 4 times, you can make it 2 times, you can make it up to even 20 times. So once we have done that, you have now 2 clips. So the next thing that we might want to use is what is called backgrounds. Normally I use it in the beginning and the end. Once you click on the background, you will see a number of beautiful backgrounds. It's a good idea to choose a background which is not very bright or doesn't hurt the eye. So I'll bring it down and place it in front of my clip. And also I'll bring it another one and bring it towards the end. So we can again go to transitions and drag down the transitions between these the clip and the backgrounds. The background that we are using here is for the purpose of titles. For the title, we go on to titles here, and then there are plenty of titles available. In the first one, I'll use something simple, and it goes over the background. I'll bring it in, trim it in to make it the same size as the background. And then once you have selected the title area, then you can actually type it like Phaco Chop. So we'll bring in another something different towards the end. You do the same thing, trim it down, and then you can select it and type something like thank you. So now we have these 2 titles. The next thing we want to do is you go to your My Media, and then you can put in your intro if you have. The intro can go here. So at this time it is a good thing to look at this audio area. This audio shows a lot of yellow like bars and a bit of a red, which tells us that it is too loud. Bring it down a little so all those bars they disappear. And then in this clip we don't want the audio, so just bring it down to 0. In this audio or in this clip also you bring it down to 0. We don't want audio in this because later on we are going to do a voiceover on this. So now we have title, we have the intro, we have 2 clips and the last slide. Now in this case we also might want to put a logo. So we want to put into your video. So click here, bring it down, and then go to this icon which is the overlay, and then type picture in picture. Then you go to cropping tool, go to fit, go again to picture in picture, and then you can bring it down to wherever you want. This can be slightly confusing. So once you have done that, you can now drag it over all your clips. So now your logo is here. Okay. So once you have done that, you can do a voiceover now. To do the voiceover, you will see this is a mic icon. You click on mic and then you see the red dot. If you press on this or click on this, you can start recording. It will give you 3 seconds of time or countdown. Before you start this, you must check that when you speak into the mic, this should be going only in the green area. If it is too loud, then it will go into the red area and the recording will not be good. And also even before that, click over here and choose your input. I'm using a Samsung G-Track Pro USB mic, so I'll select that. So once you have selected that and selected set the volume, and then you click on the red button, record button, you get a 3-second count and then you can start speaking. You will see that below the video clip, the audio has started to get recorded. Once you are done with the recording, you click on the red button again, and the audio recording, you will notice, is a green bar. And here again you can actually control the volume. You see it goes, if I go too high, drag it too high, you will see the bars turning from green to yellow to red. The red means that there is a lot of distortion, so you bring it down so that they are mostly in green, or maybe a little bit on the yellow zone should be all right. So this is now done. So if you don't like that, you can actually remove your audio, or if you're happy with it, you can just keep it. Now is the time where you can actually, if you want to, you can add some background music. I'll just go to my hard disk and look for some music under my assets. I go on to videos, banners, background music. So this is quite a short video, so this is 1 minute 57 second audio, so I'll bring it down, drag it down below this. Okay. If the clip is too short, you can actually bring it down again. Now it has become too big, so you go this side and you trim it up to here. Then you have to make sure that the background music is not too loud, otherwise it will drown your voiceover. So bring it down to little, maybe 9 to 10%. It should be barely visible. Bring this down also to the same level. So another thing you can do is, if you go to this portion, you will see the arrows changing again, and if you bring it in, this will give you a fade out of music. That the music will not suddenly stop, but it will just fade out. The same thing we can do here. Click and bring it in. So the music will just fade in. It won't be sudden music. So now most of the video is ready. We can actually add your own photograph, or you can add a lot of other things. Here I just was trying to show you the basics of it. One more thing which I would add is that you can go up to the audio section. There's this portion is noise reduction and equalizer. If you click on this, and you can tick the reduce background noise. Now if there's a humming from your air conditioner, or there's a fridge inside your room, there'll be a humming sound. This will take care of that sound. So this is quite important and very useful sometimes. And then you can select how many % of the noise which you would want to reduce. You must check this, otherwise sometimes if it is too high, then even your voice gets distorted. There's an equalizer as well. You can have a voice enhance, music enhance, loudness and all those things, but I normally keep it at flat, but you can experiment with the others and see if you like some other sounds. Another thing which can be sometimes helpful is, like in this case, if I want to go in and show this part or zoom into this part, you select the clip, and then you go to again cropping tool, crop to fill, and then you bring it or adjust the rectangle, and once you are happy with it, you can just press return and your clip will now be zoomed in. This is sometimes you have to do a zoom in, so this is how you do the zoom in. You can hear the background music. So once you are happy with the recording or your video, it's time to export it. Before that, I'll just show you one more thing, which is if you're not happy with the exposure or your clip is too dark, you can go to this area. It's called the clip filter, and then in the clip filter you can use these filters, but more than that, these are usually not very helpful. So to adjust your exposure and all those things, you click on one of these things. Now if you click on this is called the color correction. Here you can adjust the brightness, low or high, and you can adjust the contrast. These are all for contrast, different areas. Okay, so once you're happy with it, you can actually go to this area, which is a white balance area. You can make it cold or you can make it a bit warm. I just usually leave it in the middle, which is quite all right. So this way you can correct the exposure. If your video is too dark or something like that, you can adjust that as well. So once this is done, You can send it directly to YouTube, but I personally prefer, and I would also recommend that you click on File, and then you can name your file. And you can set the resolution. Now this is 720p, which is a low HD. You can put it like 1080p, which is a full HD, and this is 60 frames per second, which will be quite a big file. So then you click on next, and you can save it to wherever you want to. I'm going to save it to my downloads folder. You will see the progress of this video being rendered here in this circle. Rendering is almost complete now. Once it is complete, we'll get a notification. So the notification that the share has been successful, then you can click on Show button. And then we can view it in whichever is your video player. In this case, I'm checking it in QuickTime. So that was it. I'm sorry, it seems that the quality of the video may not have been very good. That definitely is because of the slow internet speed. But what I'll do is I'll send the original files or maybe upload them to YouTube and share the link with all of you. And I went slightly slowly so that the concepts are become very clear. If there are any questions, we can actually take the questions. And after this, I will show you actually how the video came out. Okay? So if something was not clear, I can actually clear it for you. Dr. Mehta? Yes? Yeah, that is actually not a trim. Yeah. Yes, I took part of it because if you bring in the whole thing, then it becomes very tedious. And also the timeline becomes very big. So that's called actually scrubbing. What I did in the media browser, that is called trimming, that is called scrubbing, or skimming. Skimming actually gives you a method where you can quickly go through the clip, and you quickly reach the place from where you want your video to start. There you press I. When you press I, the yellow line actually comes there. It's called the input point. And then you go further, wherever you want. Okay, this is the end of the clip that I want. You type O. So that is for out. So it's easy to remember: in, out. Then you can actually drag it down into the timeline, or actually you can press the letter E. The E, when you press E, it will actually append that particular part of the clip to the end of the timeline. So these shortcuts are very easy actually. Otherwise, otherwise it's quite difficult to do all this. The second thing is, we don't have to be very precise, because even if you make it a little short or a bit long, when you bring it, when you do trimming, you can actually bring in some of the clip, part of the clip which was not there. You can still bring it in, and you can fine tune it in your timeline. So that is called scrubbing or skimming, and it's always a good idea to do it there. But you can always do it in the timeline, because if it's a very long video, if you drop it into your timeline is going to get very big, and it can complicate things. So what I do is, I collect the clips from the browser itself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that can be done, but with I and O it becomes easier. Yeah, I and O can be easy. That's right. That's right. There's another way actually. There's one more way. If you press the letter R for whatever, Romania, and then you can actually, R is for range. You can actually select the range. You keep pressing R, and then you drag your cursor to wherever you want to go to, and then release both of them. So that will also actually select the range, and then you can drag it down or press E to bring it down. So R is for range of clips. That is another way. Sure. Actually, it's called a magnetic thing. There's a magnetic action, which sometimes it will actually, the audio will actually stick to your video thing, and if you delete it, the whole thing will go. I think if you click right click, actually you can detach it there. I haven't faced this for a long time now. Right click, and there will be something to say detach audio or something like that. I think it can be done there. But if it is not, maybe I'll check it out again, because I haven't had this problem for a long time. I think usually it's okay. Even the audio sometimes, which is connected to the video, you can detach that as well actually. You click on, you right click, and then you click on detach audio. So it will become audio will become a separate track. because we need to do this in other professional programs. Like I use a lot of Final Cut Pro, which is a professional program. In that, sometimes we have to synchronize the voice with the audio, because sometimes we record audio on a different device, and the video and audio are also on the same thing. Like if you do it on an iPhone, you may not like the audio which has been recorded on your iPhone, so you detach that, and you attach the video from a different device, which is a better recorder. That's a bit technical. We can sync those audio with the video. Even later on, if you have any queries or questions or issues, you're welcome to email to me or connect to me via WhatsApp. I'll be available to you all the time, anytime. I'll be there for help. If I can do it, I'll do it. No issues. Yeah. Sure. So I'll just show you the video that we actually, you know. So this was the video, and I hope it was quite good. Another thing, last thing, I just came to me that I'll show you from where to get audio which is not copyright. It's very important not to put in a copyright video into your videos, copyright audio into your videos, because we can get into a lot of trouble. So you can go to Google and search for Google Audio Library. Can you guys hear me? So when you go there and then you search for it, then at a certain place you will see YouTube Audio Library. You click on it. And you will reach this place, which is quite a comprehensive library of free music. So here you can actually choose the genre. You can have ambient or whatever, cinematic. But it's a good idea to start with the time, duration, because if your video is 5 minutes, try to get something like 5 minutes, 4 minutes 30 seconds to 5 minutes, and then you can actually choose the mood. I wouldn't want to use angry, or you can have a calm music. There's no match here, so maybe you can reduce the time, you might get some. So here you, on the left side, there's a right arrow. You can click on that to check the video, audio. You will also see that you are free to use this song in any of your videos. If you like the music or sound, you can click here to download it. So it will download to your downloads folder, and then you can use it in any of your projects. It's free of cost and there's no issue about copyright. So this is very important. Never use music which is copyrighted, and sometimes you can get into a lot of trouble. So yes, yes, it can happen. Yes, they are very, very strict. Yeah. They're very strict about copyright issues. Yeah. Yeah. One more thing which I would like to tell you, as I promised earlier, is there's a free program called Handbrake. Handbrake, you can use it on PC, you can use it on Mac. You download it, it's free of cost, and if you can convert your videos to different formats, and the file size really becomes very, very small. Like this iMovie video which I made was almost 2 GB. So I converted it and it became like 40 MB, which is a huge difference. So you must all have a Handbrake, which is free of cost, and it's very easy to use. That is a very good program to use. So yeah, no. You just download it from internet. Handbrake, yeah. Handbrake is very easy to use, and it's a must-have. No. It's free. It's totally free. You can do whatever you need to do, free of cost, and that's all. No, resolution, virtually you can't see the difference. If I show you both videos, unless of course you really shrink it to very small, that is a different story. But to a reasonable level, definitely you won't find the difference. So that is what I do. There are couple of other ways which maybe another tutorial I'll share with you. There are plenty of things which we can do actually. Yeah. No, you can definitely use handbrake. Like if it is 2 GB, make it 500 MB. That will not deteriorate the video quality. And many times actually that this is the video I want to really show in a conference or something like that. Those videos you already know in the operation theater itself that I'm going to use this. So those videos maybe you don't do anything to them. Uh, you once you have made your done your editing and all, then you reduce the size and archive it. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, the day you do surgery, you must label those videos correctly on that day itself. If 2 or 3 days pass, it becomes a mess. Uh, You can't find which patient, which, it takes a long time, a lot of time is wasted actually then. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Sure. Hmm. Yes, definitely. You can use what is called picture in picture. You can use that and resize. Yeah, that comes under overlay, which is the second, which is I think the first one on the left above the preview window. Above the preview window, second on the left will be a preview overlay thing. But overlay will be visible only if you have two clips, one on top of each other. If you have two clips, then only that icon will be visible. If you have only one clip, then you will not see that overlay icon. So if you have one video over the second, that's right, yeah. So you use picture in picture, then resize it to whatever size you want to use. Most welcome. Uh, like in my case, I'm using a green screen. I'll just show you. This is what is behind me actually. So when you use green screen, you can do a lot of things like I can make it transparent, or I can actually blur the background. You can see my background getting blur. So green screen has its own. This is what is behind me actually. I've painted my wall green. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, because this is the green screen behind me. This is a wall which I painted green. But you can get green screens as well from Amazon. You can put it behind you, and then if there is a clutter, sometimes you don't want to show what is behind you. So you can choose different. I can go to the beach if I want. Dr. Vikas, you can't still hear me? Okay. So I think green screen is a good idea. All right. So nice scenery behind me. Yeah, because we can't go anywhere for a holiday, so might as well think we are on a beach here. So this is what green screen is all about. Yeah. Go somewhere else. Now we are in Kerala. Okay. So I think I've taken a lot of your time. I hope I didn't waste your time. I hope because I was trying to go. I was going a bit slow because sometimes if you rush it, then certain concepts they don't stick. They just. Hmm. नहीं उसमें ये है कि yeah, no problems. No problem. No problem. Sure. No issues at all. All right. Okay. Okay. I think we can stop the broadcast now. Okay. Then thank you so much. Thanks everyone. And it was so nice to interacting with you. And we can do it more often if you want. All right. Okay. Then bye bye. Have a nice rest of the Sunday. Bye. Thank you so much.